a new life.
What is going on, you guys? My name is Royal, and that's right, the dark times are here again. We are now officially on hiatus from the Owl House. Last Saturday was the mid-season finale, and while it was amazing and emotional and wonderful, I'm still going to really miss the series while it's gone. But in the meantime, there's a lot to talk about, so let's go ahead and dive into the episode we've all been waiting for, Yesterday's Lie. So in this episode, Luce uses the Titan's blood taken from the portal key, along with some other random items scavenged from Ida's apocalypse supplies, to build a new portal door according to Philip's instructions. This door, however, is, in scientific terms, janky as hell, and rather than leading to the human realm, instead leads into a bizarre dimension between the realms which only gives Luce the ability to see, hear, and speak through reflections. Luce is tethered to the demon realm, and Ida, King, and Hooty agree to pull her back if anything happens. While trying to speak with her mother, Luce discovers a demonic doppelganger has been posing as her since she first traveled to the Isles. The imposter, believing Luce has come to drag her back to the demon realm, tries to run and hide, but is caught in one of the many snare traps left all over town by someone unknown, and her true appearance is revealed. Luce, taking pity upon the captured creature, helps her escape the snare and offers to let the demon continue impersonating her in order to keep her mother from the truth. But to transform back into a copy of Luce, the creature, who introduces herself as V, must replenish her magic, which is, of course, in short supply in the human realm. Luckily, Luce knows that Ida has spent quite a lot of time in the human realm and is hopeful that she left behind some magical objects during her misadventures in her hometown of Gravesfield. And with V in a crude disguise, they embark on a scavenger hunt following Ida's trail, who most of the townsfolk consider to be just some crazy old woman trying to scam them. At the end of the trail, they arrive at the local historical society run by a peculiar young man named Jacob Hopkins, who has an obsession with demons and witches. While waiting for Jacob, V admits to Luce that she resents her for abandoning such a loving and caring mother and giving up such a happy life. V reveals that her own life before she met Camilla was nothing but pain and misery. In truth, she's a basilisk, an extinct species that was artificially brought back for the purposes of study and experimentation. Her true name is Number 5, which is merely the number she was given as one of the test subjects. V saw Luce the day she arrived in Bonesboro and realized that Luce was the key to her escape from the Isles, but before they can discuss it further, she is lured into Jacob's office by the smell of magic. Once inside, it's revealed that he was the one setting the traps across town. V panics and accidentally sets off another one of Jacob's traps, locking herself in a cage with no hope of escape. Jacob is thrilled that his suspicions are confirmed and pledges to expose V to the world live on the internet for the benefit of his YouTube channel. V, despondent by the fact that her brief moment of happiness has finally come to an end, accepts her fate and is prepared to live in captivity for the rest of her life, but only hopes that her disappearance will not hurt Camilla, whom she still cares deeply for. Luce, unable to rescue V on her own, finally manages to speak with her mother through the reflection on her phone screen and tells her all about the day she disappeared and her time in the demon realm, as well as the truth about V. Camilla believes this is all an elaborate game, but wants to indulge her daughter and plays along. She arrives at the Historical Society and poses as a government employee, still believing it's part of the game, but when she's faced with V's true, monstrous form, she finally comes to the terrible realization that Luce's story is true, and that she's been living with an imposter all these months. Still, Camilla is impressed by V's courage, and just as Jacob is about to dissect her, Camilla subdues him easily and they head home. Camilla invites V to continue staying with her for as long as she needs and gives her some Hexus Hold'em cards found in the office to replenish her magic. Finally alone again, she and Luce share an emotional farewell through the reflection of the falling rain. Camilla's brave face in the dark reality of her daughter's situation is all a lie, and in reality she's terrified for her daughter but admits that she can tell how much she's grown. Luce tries her best to reassure her mother, but accidentally lets it slip that she chose to stay in the demon realm rather than come home. Camilla is crushed and blames herself for driving her daughter away, admitting that she was blind to her own daughter's unhappiness. Luce tries to console her, but is slowly pulled through the portal before she has a chance. Before they're forced apart, Camilla begs Luce to promise that once they're reunited, she'll never leave again. Luce, desperate to soothe her mother's pain, accepts just before the connection is broken and she's pulled back into the demon realm. Reunited with the Owl House crew, Luce chooses not to share with them the dark and sad details of her time with her mother, but assures them that her mother can't wait to meet them. Ida, Hooty, and King fantasize about their adventures in the human realm, while Luce shoulders the weight of her mother's pain as well as the promise she made. So this episode wasn't as explosive as I thought it would be, but holy shit was the emotional payoff worth it. First of all, I have to say I absolutely love Camilla. I feel like she got a lot of flack early on from the fandom for being naive to her daughter's struggles, but this episode made it absolutely clear that she loves her daughter deeply and she's got a heart of gold. So yeah, sure, she might not be perfectly in tune with everything about Luce's life, but what parent is? She's got a beautiful heart, she loves animals, she loves her daughter's creativity and all the little things that make her different, and this is of course not even including the fact that she didn't hesitate to put herself in harm's way to save V, and didn't hesitate to invite her to stay with her for as long as she needs. And I mean, she even got the box full of Luce's old things out of the garbage because she couldn't bring herself to part ways with the quirky childhood keepsakes of her daughter. And I also love the fact that her weapon of choice, even when surrounded by all kinds of deadly objects, is her trusty chancla. So yeah, it's basically confirmed now that Camila is a precious cinnamon roll and that we need to protect her at all costs. This season has had so many beautiful moments, and there's probably too many to list, but I think this one absolutely takes the cake and devours it. The Owl House is of course no stranger to emotional gut punches, but this is the first one that seriously made me cry. I mean, the image of Luce trapped in a dimension between the realms, reflected in the night's rain with her mother unable to touch her as they say farewell, is so tragic and beautiful and sad that I couldn't help but tear up. Just the idea that Camila now blames herself for driving her daughter away and that she's left believing that her daughter hated their time together is so heartrending that I have no idea how I'm gonna make it through the hiatus, let alone waiting until they finally reunite for real. I need them all to be happy and free and safe now, damn it! So now that we've talked about the pain in my heart and the reason I'll need therapy for the next few months, let's talk about the rest of the episode. In this episode, we're introduced to another character who's of course going to be a new fan favorite, V, the demon who's been impersonating Luce this whole time. She gives Luce some pretty harsh but long overdue real talk, and while I don't think Luce was wrong to try to find her magical destiny in the demon realm, it does put into perspective just how much love she had at home, and just how devastated her mother would have been if she spent all this time believing that her daughter was gone without a trace. Especially knowing that, based on a strategically placed photo in the episode, Camila is most likely a single parent, and that all she has left is Luce. V's connection to Camila is incredibly sweet. I mean, the part where she accidentally called her mom really hit me deep down.
You were missing, and Camila seems so kind.
And I really hope that she becomes more of an adopted daughter/sister for the Noseda family, which would make for an amazing finale if the demon realm and human realm are eventually merged into one. We also get a lot of really amazing and interesting lore about Luce's hometown, its connection to the demon realm, and of course, Philip Woodabane. For starters, we now know that Philip had a brother who was also trapped with him in the Isles. We get our best view so far of Philip, as well as his brother, from a statue in Gravesfield commemorating the two, showing them as they were just before they were taken to the Isles. We also learn, at least if Jacob is to be believed, and he's a total nerd so who knows, that they did not merely stumble into the demon realm, but that they were sent there by a witch. And if I'm getting all into theory mode, it's possible that this witch is an ancestor of the Clawthorne family, as we know they have a connection to the door, as well as knowledge about the event passed down through stories to Gwendolyn as a child. If this is true, I think that would be absolutely amazing, because the idea that the descendants of the Woodabane and the Clawthorne families are just watching these events unfold and they're actually part of this fated series of events is just kind of spine-chilling, and I love that, and I really hope that that turns out to be true, because I think that would be amazing. But my absolute favorite new piece of information that's come from this episode is a snippet of a wood carving shown by Jacob. In it, you can see the two brothers just as they're about to be cast into the demon realm by the witch. And while the carving is fairly crude, it does include some key details, such as a strange symbol drawn onto a paper held by one of the brothers, which kind of looks like a glyph, as well as a very familiar looking bird perched onto the shoulder of the other. Obviously, this looks strikingly similar to Hunter's new palisman, and because we know that Hunter's palisman was previously owned by someone else, as well as the fact that this palisman is drawn to him, makes it highly likely that Hunter is the true descendant of one of the Woodabane brothers, most likely Philip himself. And if so, that certainly lends a lot of credibility to the idea that Belos is the other brother, and that his cruelty and drive to reunite the realms comes from being left behind for hundreds of years by his own brother, using his brother's own bloodline as a way to see his plans through. So yeah, as if the Owl House universe couldn't get any darker and more terrifying and sadder, but also more interesting and amazing, and can't wait. So yeah, some really great lore coming from this episode, and I can't wait to nerd out about it some more and talk about it with you guys and see what the community thinks about all these new crazy things that are happening. A couple other things that I thought were pretty peculiar in this episode. In the old house that the original portal door is connected to, there's a piece of fabric with like some dark blue or purple ink stained on it, and because we know that this house is somehow connected to the disappearance of the Woodabane brothers, this could maybe be some leftover Titan's blood from the construction of the original door. Don't know if that's true, it just kind of looked a little odd as I was watching the episode, and if they need Titan's blood, how crazy would it be if there was some left behind in the human realm? I'm also wondering if Jacob Hopkins will be coming back in some sort of capacity. He was certainly written more as like a jokey character, kind of like a Ronaldo from Steven Universe, but with all of the information that he has on Ida, as well as the training wand which we know humans can use, I wonder if he'll come back as some sort of greater antagonist in the future. Well, you guys, I think that's going to have to do it for this video. I can't believe we're already on hiatus again, but damn if that wasn't an amazing season so far. Big kudos to the Owl House team for making such a wonderful show. Be sure to show your support by telling your friends about the series and watching it on Disney Plus whenever you can. Dana has confirmed that the rest of the season so far will be on Disney Plus by the end of the month, so be sure to stream it there for maximum effect. Also be sure to tweet with the hashtag #MoreOwlHouse or whatever happens to be trending at the moment. I know it's changed several times over the past couple months, to let people know just how much you love the show. I have a lot of really great videos planned for during the hiatus, so be sure to subscribe for more Owl House content. And follow me on Twitter if you like, at RoyalReviewsYT, no underscores, and I will see you guys next time.